Hello, everybody. It's been a while since we've just had a nice movie discussion around here. Partially because, well, movies aren't coming out quite the way they used to. But there's one movie that has been in the news quite a bit as of late. A film that I would just like to give my 2 cents on. A film directed by a Mr. Zachary Snyder. And this week we saw a picture from said movie that stars a Mr. Jared Leto as a character known as the Joker. And if you have seen this picture, I'm going to post it now, you will now get my immediate response of, "What the fuck is going on? What is happening? What are we doing here? Look at this! This is fucking ridiculous! Why? What logical purpose is there for this to be in the movie? Or, it's not in the movie, in which case, why are you using it to market the movie? This whole thing has just ballooned into absolute insanity. Like, I never fucking expected we'd still be talking about this movie from 4 fucking years ago. And, like, it's insane. Why can't people get over this? Well, I think I know why, but we're going to talk about that. We're not going to cover all the stuff with Zack Snyder and Man of Steel and then BVS. We've talked about it to death, and if I haven't, dozens of people will. You all know about this. We're just going to start the discussion from post-Justice League's release, and I guess around the release, onward. So, when Justice League was coming out, just as a quick reminder, it had a very tenuous production. A lot of changes were made after the response to BVS, which really caused a lot of issues with the script and getting the movie together. Then Wonder Woman came out, and that created a bigger monkey wrench because everyone liked Wonder Woman, so they wanted to redirect and redo everything again. And so, in the 11th hour after Snyder had either left due to the tragic passing of his daughter or had been fired slightly before and the two news stories got mixed together, we'll never really know. They brought in Joss Whedon to go and basically redo the whole movie, giving us a weird scotch tape mess. But at least it was mercifully short. Anyways, so then the movie is out, and it's over, and it becomes very apparent just all the changes made, and all the messing around. And the funny thing is, no one at first believed what Snyder was doing was better. All the build-up to Justice League was, before everything happened with Whedon and everything, that this is gonna fucking suck. Because even if you liked Man of Steel, I still liked Man of Steel. I think there's a lot of good stuff in there. Even if you liked Man of Steel, you know that there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really work for a lot of people. And BVS, if you're part of that group that do like it, my hat's off to you. You know it doesn't work for most people, myself included. So when going into Justice League, everyone's like, oh no, more of the same, more dark, more edgy, more just dumb nonsense. So, like, when Snyder's gone and the movie comes out and it's over, I think everyone had this weird reaction of, at least it's over. But then shortly after, this strange little argument came up. It's like, well, what if what Zack Snyder was going to do was going to be better? Or at least more cohesive, is how this started. And then that idea got traction, and then it kind of evolved, and suddenly it became Snyder should have been allowed to finish his vision. It turned into, he was working towards something, WB hired him and made him waste a lot of time on this just to get rid of him. He should have had the right to get that. Well, people put 2 and 2 together. If the movie was being so heavily edited that late in production, that clearly means that there is some capacity, a version of the movie that exists out in the world. A cut, if you will. This is what became known as the Snyder Cut. It was not based on anything for a very long time. It was based on this theoretical concept that there is a cut of a movie that no one gave a flying fuck about. that was just like sitting there, and it grew and it grew, and people were buying like banners and like bus stop ads. Release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut. And if you watch this whole thing grow, and this is what I felt at the time, you suddenly realize it stopped being about let's see this for the sake of seeing it. This turned into people thinking that the Snyder Cut was like the greatest thing ever and the true like epitome of cinema. I am a firm believer what really turned the Snyder fanbase into what it is today is not that they like Man of Steel or BVS, it is the fantasy of what Snyder was going to do next. And if you've heard the details of what was going to do next, it probably wasn't going to be good. But people just hold on to that idea of what it could have been. And this went on, and it went on, and Snyder started playing into this, which has its own problems. I just said that no one would move on. What happens when Shazam comes out? Release the Snyder Cut. Aquaman, release the Snyder Cut. Joker, Snyder Cut. No one would let it go. Then Warner Brothers, who seemed pretty convinced to just ignore them for all eternity, starts up their own little streaming service, a HBO Max. Perhaps you've heard of it and how it's screwing over movie studios. So they start HBO Max. And then suddenly this kind of becomes the question. Well, what do you fill HBO Max with? You got your Friends. I think they got all the Miyazaki movies. All this good shit. Well, they need big tentpole stuff to bring everybody in. And who's gonna watch fucking Titans? No one likes that show. So, what suddenly becomes a thing? What if we just put the Snyder Cut on HBO Max? Little things. Also, it was around this time that I noticed the actors from Justice League started being like, release the Snyder Cut. Strange, isn't it? So then, HBO Max does the thing. They announced the Snyder Cut, and many people theorize the Snyder Cut exists as a work print, which is just the full-length film without finished special effects, which intentionally not used takes in it. That's what back in the day when X-Men Origins Wolverine leaked, that's what that was. It was a rough cut. It was a work print. And that's what we would get. Nope. Warner Brothers was going to put money into finishing the Snyder Cut. That's right. They were going to give fans what they want. Finishing the Snyder Cut has cost almost like another $100 million, if I'm correct. You could make 2 more movies for that. This is money going into this thing that no one gave a shit about. That, remember, going into Justice League, everyone knew was going to be bad. And, like, it's just ballooned into these lunatics who just, like, believe that Snyder is, like, some crazy prophet who has, like, given us the ultimate elite intelligent cinema, who believe that a Batman who kills, a Superman who's dreary all the time, that all these things justify their love of comics, that their belief in superheroes is not childish, that if by making them into just edgelords, it makes them feel validated and them feel like adults. And look, I love comics. I love superheroes. It's for children. That's fine. That's the point. So now you've got this movie coming out, and everything is just Snyderness just turned up to 11. It's why you've got Jesus Joker. It's why in the trailer he's like, we live in a society, and it's delivered with no irony. It's why everything looks dark. It's why Steppenwolf looks like a weird, like, cheese grater. You've got Darkseid, who looks like a PS3 graphic. Like, you just have all this stuff, and all I can fucking tell is it just exists to turn the edgelord factor to an 11. This is not a movie made to appeal to people. This is to create an echo chamber for people who just want to exist in Zack Snyder land. They just want to keep believing that these heroes should just be dark, edgy characters because that's what the people watching this feel. And you know what? They're gonna grow out of it. They're going to grow out of it, and this will just be remembered as some dumb, weird experiment in just edgelord, unhappy, violent nonsense. Nothing about this seems coherent. Nothing about a 4-hour film feels like it can give us a cohesive story. This is a terrible fucking idea. And the worst part is it's probably going to work because I think there's enough people out there who want this to validate their existence. So yeah, that's the Snyder Cut. It's fucking awful, and just like, we're never gonna move on. It's never going to be over because guess what? This is not actually what Snyder wanted. He wanted a trilogy, a big overarching story. So people are going to be like, well, if they don't like, well, it's like, that's what we were really supposed to get, and Snyder will feed into it. And if not that, they're like, well, we should get the second movie. That's going to be like, well, give us the Wonder Woman version of Snyder's Wonder Woman, this, that. It's just never going to end. And the thing is, in a world where you're basing success on subscriber dollars, Warner Brothers will just think that, oh, well, this is what everyone wants. So this is just all we're going to get forever. You'll just get stuff that exists to appeal to a very specific side of you instead of giving you new things to actually enjoy and interpret things. That's the problem here. Like, there should be a variety of different kinds of stuff going on in these movies. Then, like, I hate to be the guy who says it, but that's why Marvel works. They're all a little bit different. And when they get samey sometimes, well, people complain and you get a WandaVision. And, well, that's not going to happen here if Warner Brothers just listens to the people who just eat this shit up and don't actually process any of the information. And if you try to talk to these people, it's like, well, you just don't get it because you're not smart enough for Snyder. That's my problem. It's that I want people, if you want to like stuff, that's fine, but I want to be able to understand why you like it, and I want the discussion to not just be, it's edgy and dark. There is more to movies, there is more to writing, and I think that gets lost when all you're trying to do is appeal to one group like that. I do want to end this video, though, on a positive note, because over the years, because I've tried to be an actor and do other entertainment industry stuff, I've met people who have been in, like, the bubble of Zack Snyder's world, and the weird thing is, by all accounts, Zack Snyder is a super nice guy. Like, he's known for being this kind of chill, fun, like, happy guy, very approachable, very likable. So, when I see that this is what he puts out, you're just like, huh? It's like Robert Kirkman in Walking Dead. And you know what? I'm glad he's using a lot of the platforms he's getting from this movie to talk about suicide and suicide prevention. And he's trying to, like, sort of do what he can with the tragedy he's been through. And you know what? I genuinely fucking respect that. And I respect Snyder as a person and in a way as a filmmaker because he genuinely seems passionate about this sense of filmmaking. Even if I don't really like it, at least I believe he cares about it and wants to do more. I'm excited for his Netflix zombie movie. I don't even like zombies, but because he's such a passionate director, I'm genuinely curious, and I hope he does get the chance to direct the art he thinks he can do, but it's not going to happen if everything is just based around appealing to the people who will like your stuff no matter what. So yeah, that's my thoughts about it. If you're excited for the Snyder Cut, be my guest. You're perfectly fine. I'll try and figure out a way to get to it eventually. I don't have HBO Max, and I don't want to go sit in a movie theater for the first time in a year to this. But I'll try and figure out a way to watch, and we'll talk about it when it comes out. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below about the Snyder Cut, if you're okay with any of this, and if it's fine. This is just me ranting for a little bit. But give me about all that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me for more Jared Leto. Oh, God, I can't.